like to do now is combine a bunch of spaces and create HVAC zones. Then we're going to run some reports. To get started, I'd like to go to floor plan level 1. I want to zoom in on my office 101, and I want to select the space. In my properties and my drop-down, I want to change my number to 101 and my name to office, all caps. Click apply. I want to do that for all of these spaces. So I'm going to go to my reception. I'm going to select it. Number is going to be 102. My name wants to be reception. Click apply. I'm going to grab my storage. 103A. The name is storage. Click apply. I'm going to select my office 103. My name, I can hit the drop down and select office this time, luckily. I guess I'll make men's 104. Select the number, 104. The name is going to be men's. Click apply. I'm going to grab exam 1003. The name is exam. Click apply. Let's do one more for the corridor. I'm going to select the corridor. The number is going to be 100. The name is going to be corridor. I'm going to click apply. Okay. Let's hit escape a couple of times. Now here's what I want to do. I want to right click on level 1. And I want to duplicate view. And I want to duplicate. Notice what happens is it gets rid of all the tags and everything we had in here. It only keeps the model. I want to right click on level 1, copy 1, and I want to rename it the level 1 zone plan. All caps. And I'm going to click OK. Now here's what I want to do. I'm going to create some zones. I'm going to go to the Analyze tag. I want to click on my zone button. Now what we do is notice that we add spaces to the zone. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to select this space. I'm going to select this space, this space, this space. And I said I was going to add my men's room. I'm going to scroll up and look at some of my properties. I can add an image to it. And I can add a name to it. My name, I'm going to call it Northwest Zone. And I'm going to click on Finish Editing Zone. Now I'm going to click on Zone again. I'm going to select this one here. It's just one space. My name is going to be Exam Zone. Click Apply. I'm going to click on Finish Editing Zone. Go to Zone again. I'm going to select my corridor. My name, of course, will be Corridor Zone. I'm going to click Apply. Finish Editing Zone. I know there's no space here, but we're going to add zones down here too. So I'm going to click on Zone. I'm going to grab the available spaces. Notice we deleted the space from here because the architect never labeled it as a room. In this case, you would have to add a space, but we're not going to. Click here, click here, click here. And my name is going to be Southwest Zone. Apply. Finish editing. I'm going to create another zone. I'm going to click here, 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 and here. I'm going to call this Southeast Zone. Click apply. Finish editing. This will be Southwest. I'm going to click on Zone. I'm going to add this big space and these two spaces. This is going to be Northeast Zone. Click apply. Click finish editing zone. And there we go. Now what I'd like to do is come over here and I want to click on energy settings. So I'm going to click on energy settings. Now for my location, I don't want to be in Boston, Mass. I'm going to click on the builder button. I want to type Syracuse. I want to add Y. Let's see if it can find this. Search. Hey, look at that. I'm going to use daylight savings time. I'm going to click OK. Now we can scroll down and we can take a look at some of the items. So advanced other options, click edit. We can change everything that we want. So if we scroll down here, we put everything in that we want for our calculations. I'm going to click OK. Click OK again. Now what I'd like to do is I'm going to click my spaces and zones drop down. I'm going to click on color schemes. I'm going to rename schema 1. I'm going to call it level 1 zones. I'm going to click OK. And of course, we can change these drab colors all we want. We can change our fill pattern. Let's keep them the way they are right now. But under categories, instead of spaces, I want to go HVAC zones. Now I want to right click on this. And I want to rename this now. Again to level 1 zones. Click OK. Now I'm going to click apply. I'm going to click OK. Now I'd like to click on color fill legend right here. I'm going to put this like right here. My space type will be HVAC zones. My color scheme will be level 1 zones. I'm going to click OK. Now if I move this over a little bit closer, we'll see that it's picking up our zones, but we'll see what it's ignoring also. Now if I hover over each zone, it tells me what rooms are involved in it. I want to go over here and click on heating and cooling loads now. In a second, it's going to generate our building. Now we can see the spaces that we have in here. I want to come over to details right now. Notice that we're in Syracuse, New York. Go to details. Now I want to look at my zones. See how we have our zones in here? If we drill in the corridor zone, then one corridor. Now we can look at it a little bit differently. We can highlight it or we can isolate it. Go to exam zone. Here's our exam room. Northeast zone, we know that we don't have anything identified in there. But my northwest zone, I sure do. We can select all these and I click on northwest zone. I'm going to uncheck isolate and I'll keep highlight on. So I'm going to go through, but each zone, we can add its own heating information, cooling information, outdoor air information. We can change the service type. We can do all of that. So what I want to do now is just run a quick calculation. So I'm going to click on calculate and use the project summary. We haven't given it a project name, so that's fine. But as we scroll down through, we can see the building summary. This gives us our zones, all of our cooling and heating loads, default spaces, corridor zone, come right through. Space name 100 corridor, it'll jump back down to that. Got everything in it. So if I close out of here, in our project browser, if we scroll down to reports, we can drill into reports, load reports. Here's our load report, same thing. So there you go. That's how you break a model down into zones. I want to finish off piping with adding pipe accessories. I'm going to zoom into my mechanical room. It looks pretty good in my enlarged, but my schematics don't look very good at all. So what I want to do is I want to make it so this doesn't look like an owl. I'm going to go to my systems tab. And for plumbing and piping, I'm going to go back to my mechanical settings. So for my pipe fitting annotation size, I'm going to bump that down to 2 millimeters. In my pipe rise drop annotation size, I'm gonna bump that down to 2, just to see how drastically we can change the look of this. I'm gonna click OK. This looks a lot better. All right, what I'd like to do is, on the plumbing and piping panel, the systems tab, I'm gonna click on pipe accessory. There's actually no pipe accessories loaded in the plumbing template. That's odd. I would like to load one now, so click yes. Under US metric, we're gonna scroll down till we find pipe. You would be inclined to go to accessories, but I want to go to valves. I'm gonna go to ball valves. I'm gonna grab the one ball valve that's in here. M ball valve 150 millimeter. I'm gonna click open. Now a piping accessory doesn't know the size of the pipe that you're trying to put it on. That's why there's a range of sizes. This is 50 millimeter. I don't remember what size this pipe was. So I'm gonna hit escape. I'm gonna select my pipe. And look at that, we got lucky. It's 50 millimeter. So I'm gonna hit escape a couple times. I'm gonna click on pipe accessory. And I have 50 millimeter. Now notice if you hit the drop down, there's a few others in here. So when I come over to my pipe, it's going to flip into the right direction. I'm going to put it somewhere like right about here. Hit escape a couple times. And there's an accessory. Now, what I want to do is go to a large mechanical room. Zoom in on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on my thin lines button just to see how that looks. Of course, if I select it, I can hit the rotate. I can keep rotating it around the clock. Now what I'd like to do is add some insulation to this pipe. So I'm going to hover over this pipe. I'm going to hit tab and I'm going to select it. So I'm going to insulate it up to the pump. Now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click add insulation. I can have fiberglass or PVC jacketed fiberglass. This is the stuff that really causes trouble. So I'm going to grab PVC jacketed fiberglass. And my thickness, I'm going to make it 30 millimeters. I'm going to click OK. Escape a couple times. Now I can see how much bigger that pipe actually is in real life. So if I select my pipe, remember I can click Edit Insulation, and now my insulation is going to show up over here in my properties. It knows what system it's on. It just knows that this PVC jacketed pipe fiberglass is going to be bigger than the pipe it's on. And it also is going to wrap any kind of fitting that we have in here. I'm going to hit escape a couple times. So that's pretty much it. Again, remember, manufacturers have these available. So if you want to bring in accessories, valves, fittings, go to your manufacturer. I almost guarantee they're going to have the stuff. I'd like to take a look at the system browser. It's pretty awesome to have around. Before I even show it, again, I recommend that you have 2 monitors at least. So to make that show up, we can do one of 2 things. I can find any open space and right click, go to browsers, I can find system browser. Or I can go to the view tab, I can go to user interface, I can come down to system browser. So I'm going to turn that on. So I'm going to minimize all my fields. And as we can see, we have 12 piping systems. So I'm going to drill into here. And when I select domestic cold water, I can drill into this. I see that we have water closets. We have all kinds of stuff. So what's nice about this is we can see our systems, but if I select this water closet, right click and show, I'm going to zoom right in on that actual item. That's why I love this so much. So if I click close here, I can zoom out, say, okay, I'm in that lavatory. So I can actually find where my items are based on the system browser. I can come down to domestic hot water, come down to M water heater, and I can select that. And there's other items that are assigned to it. Sometimes we have unassigned items, but that's fine. Pretty much everything we put into the model is assigned. Domestic hot water, so I can select that water heater, right click, I'm going to show it. I'm going to hit close. There's my water heater. If I right click and go to type properties, now here's my domestic hot water. It's my piping system property. So instead of going to the project browser and finding the piping systems, we can come right here. You can right click on any one of these. Now you can change the graphic overrides. You can do whatever you want to do in terms of how that piping system looks. So I'm going to hit cancel here. I'm going to hit escape. There's a couple of things we can do. If I click on the column settings button, we can go into general. We can show room name and number. We can show spaces. So for general, I'm just going to click OK. And there's a little fly over here. So we know that the one mechanical room, we have the space name, the space number. So we know that we have that in there. So it's a pretty cool little feature. I recommend you use it. But like I said, it's nice to have another monitor. Time to start sprinkler. I like to keep sprinkler in its own separate model also. For the same reason, I like to keep plumbing and mechanical separate. Because it's really hard to start isolating pipes when we have way too much in one model. To get started, I want to go to Projects, New. For the template file, I'm going to click Browse, and I'm going to hit Mechanical Default Metric. I'm going to click Open. I'm going to click OK. Of course, I'm going to go Insert. I'm going to link Meta. I'm going to go to where I'm keeping my exercise files and my backgrounds, and I'm going to grab my architectural. I'm going to make sure position is origin to origin, and I'm going to click Open. I'm going to select my underlay. I'm going to pin it down. I'm going to click on Edit Type. I'm going to make sure Room Bounding is turned on. I'm going to hit Apply. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to hit Escape a couple times. Now, here's what I want to do. I don't want to deal with HVAC. I want this to be more of a piping plan than anything else. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my floor plan 1 Mac and my 2 Mac. And in my properties, I'm going to scroll down. I still want discipline to be mechanical, but I want my subdiscipline. If I just click into here, I can type in anything I want. So my subdiscipline is going to be sprinkler. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to click apply. Now I'm going to grab these 2 ceiling plans. A subdiscipline. Now I can click my drop down and sprinkler will be available. Click apply. In my 3D view, I'm going to select my 3D view. My subdiscipline, I'm going to hit my drop down and it's going to be sprinkler. Click apply. My elevations, I'm going to do the same. Subdiscipline, hit the drop down. It's going to be sprinkler. Now I have everything is sprinkler. Perfect. For my plumbing, I can select all of these views. Right click and delete them. So for my floor plan 1 Mac, I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to rename it. My word Mac is going to be sprinkler. I'm going to copy sprinkler to the clipboard by selecting it. Right click, copy, click OK. Rename to Mac. Okay. I'm going to rename these ceiling plans. Right click and rename this one. And I'm going to rename my elevations. A few things I don't want to see. I don't care to see plumbing fixtures. So I'm going to make sure I'm in floor plan 1 sprinkler. I'm going to type VG. I don't want to see air terminals. I'm going to scroll down. I don't want to see conduits or conduit fittings. I don't want to see anything that's got anything to do with ducts. I always forget to hit flex ducts. We want to keep flex pipes on though. Keep scrolling down. We want to see everything that has to do with pipes, of course. I don't want to see plumbing fixtures. I'm going to keep going. Definitely want to see sprinklers. That was the one thing I was looking for. Everything else seems fine. I'm going to click apply. I'm going to click OK. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that we have our view template is set to none, which it is, so that's perfect. Now, last thing I want to do is make a couple elevations. So I'm going to go to my south elevation. Grab level 1 and level 2. I'm going to drag them out. I'm going to click AL for align. I'm going to align my 2 levels. I'm just going to go up and make a roof level. So I'm going to select level 2. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to create similar. I'm going to come all the way up to my roof. On my draw panel, I'm going to click on my Pick Lines button. I'm going to select my roof level. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to drag it out till I'm in line with level 2. I'm going to turn it on. Escape a couple times. I'm going to select level 3. Select it again. And I'm going to call it roof. I'm going to hit enter. Yes, I would like to rename the corresponding views. But look what happened. Mechanical, question mark, question mark, question mark, HVAC. So we're going to scroll into here, structural plans, select roof, right click and delete it. I'm going to go into my mechanical, go into ceiling plans. I'm going to right click on roof and I'm going to delete that. So I'm going to go into my floor plans. Here's my roof. I'm going to select roof. I'm going to scroll down till I find sub-discipline. If we can't change it, what we need to do is we need to go up, but we need to select the view template, click mechanical plan, go to none, click OK. Now we can select roof again. Now we can scroll up and we can set our sub-discipline to be sprinkler, click apply, and we're good. Floor plans 1, 2 sprinkler, roof. Ceiling plans, I only want 2 ceiling plans, certainly not a roof ceiling plan. Okay, I'm going to click on my Close Hidden Windows button. And I'm going to save this somewhere where I'm keeping my exercise files. I'm going to go to my options. I only want 1 backup. Click OK. Let's click Save. Here we go. Now ready to run some sprinklers. What I'd like to do is lay out some sprinkler heads. To do that, I'm going to jump into my Sprinkler Project 02. Now I'm going to go to Sprinkler Ceiling Plan 1. I'm going to click on the easy rooms. So here's what I want to do. I want to go to the Systems tab. Now we're going to come down here to Sprinkler. Notice that I can't place it. If we have a sidewall diffuser, that's what you want to place on a wall. I don't want to do that. I want to place a pendant hosted. Remember, we have our placement panel. So click Place on Face. It's pretty hard to get these centered on the tile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a spot right here. Now I'm going to hit Escape a couple times. I'm going to select my sprinkler head. I'm going to click Move. I'm not going to pick on the sprinkler head because there's all kinds of little grips and snaps. So I'm going to pick a point right here on the grid. So I'm going to move in 600 millimeters. I'm going to click Move again. Pick a spot here. I'll move it down 300 millimeters. It's going to center it on that tile. And I'm going to cut a section. Even when we're sure it's in that grid, I'm never that sure. So I'm going to double click on my section. Sprinklers are tiny, they're hard to see, but just make sure they're in the ceiling. Nothing's worse than floating sprinkler heads. I'm going to hit Control Tab, it goes back to this floor plan. So I'm going to select this sprinkler head here. I'm going to click Copy. I'm going to pick this grid. And I'm going to copy it down. I'm going to stagger them a little bit though. I'm going to select this sprinkler head. I'm going to click Move. I'm going to go from here to here. Hit Escape. I'm going to hold down my Control key, select them both. I'm going to click Copy. I'm going to go from this grid to here, to this grid. Now I'm going to pick a window around all 4 of them. I'm going to click Copy. I'm going to go from this grid to here. Hit Escape. I'm going to click all these. I'm going to click Copy. I'm going to go from here. I'm going to copy them to this grid. One more set. I'm going to pick these. I'm going to click Copy. I'm going to go here to here. And it doesn't like that one, which is pretty cool that it gives us a warning. Okay, I guess we don't need to sprinkler it. I'm going to delete it because we haven't said we don't need it. Now, as I go through, I encourage you to look at my other course, Sprinkler Design in Revit. We have a whole course based only on sprinkler design. So we're going to do a few basic layouts here, but if you have any advanced questions, go ahead and refer to that course. I want to model some mains, but before I do that, I want to look at how to create a brand new pipe system. I want to go to Ceiling Plan 1, Ceiling Sprinkler. Now, on my Systems tab, I'm going to click on my Pipe button. Now I have Pipe Type Standard. I'm going to click on Edit Type. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to call it Threaded. I'm going to click OK. Now I want to dig into my routing preferences, so I'm going to click on Edit. I'm going to change a couple things here, but then we're going to load a bunch of families from here. My pipe segment, I'm going to click the drop down. I'm going to scroll to the bottom, and I'm going to go steel carbon. My minimum size is 15 millimeters. My maximum size, I'm going to hit my drop down. I'm going to crank it up to 600 millimeters. Now what I want to do is click on Load Family. I'm going to go to Pipe. I'm going to go to Fittings. I'm going to go to Malleable Iron. Class 150. Threaded. I'm going to hit Control A. I want to load all these. I'm not sure which ones I need, but if something's not working, we can go back through and replace them with whatever it does work. Click Open. Okay, let's go down through. Make sure min size is all. For our elbow, I'm going to click the drop down. I'm going to grab my top threaded one. We're going to keep doing that. My cross. And go with threaded MI. Keep scrolling down. Sometimes I miss the bottom ones because I forget to scroll down over here. For transitions, threaded. Keep going. And for your cap, can't forget the good old cap. And cap threaded. Grab it. Click OK. Let's click OK. Okay, for the diameter on this, I'm going to hit the drop down here. I'm going to go down to 150. For my offset, 2750 seems good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start way down here in my mechanical room. I'm going to come up here. I'm at 9 feet, so I know I'm above my ceiling. I'm going to pick a point about here. I'm going to come all the way down out to about here. I'm going to hit Escape. I'm going to come to here and I'm going to select this fitting. I'm going to click on my little plus sign right here. I'm going to select here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to click Draw Pipe. I'm going to draw this pipe up a little higher so I can service this area. I'm going to draw this pipe straight down into this general vicinity. I'm going to go past that sprinkler just a little bit. Escape. I'm going to select this pipe. I'm going to click on Cap Open Ends. How cool is that? I'm going to do the same on this one. Select the pipe. Cap Open Ends. I'm going to go to a 3D view quick. I'm just going to look at what this pipe looks like. So I'm going to scroll into the one coupling we have. I'm going to set my detail level to fine. I'm going to click on my thin lines button. I'm going to set my visual style to realistic. Pretty cool. Okay, now we've got a few mains drawn in. It's time to bring our branch piping in. It's not as easy. The hardest part in laying out sprinkler piping is connecting your sprinkler heads to your main pipes. There's a couple different ways to do it, but the more difficult way is the way I usually see it done. Under floor plans, I'm going to go to Ceiling Plans, Ceiling Sprinkler. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to select this sprinkler head. And I'm simply going to click on Connect Into. I'm going to pick my pipe. It connected to it, but it doesn't like the system classification on my sprinkler head based on the system that my pipe is on. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. So we're going to close out of this warning. Now my next one's a little trickier. I'm going to select my sprinkler head. And right here, I'm going to click on this Create Pipe, this little drip icon. Now, I'm going to set it above this pipe, then I'm going to drop it down onto that pipe. So my offset, I'm going to type in like 3300, and then I'm just guessing here, hoping that's high enough. I'm going to come up to my pipe, and I want to click on Add Vertical. Now we're going to click it, and it should give me the drop down. I'm going to bring my section marker over to investigate. I'm going to open it up, zoom in. Yeah, that works for me. I'm going to hit Control Tab. I'm going to keep going. Click the drip. Offset 3300. There. Now I'm just going to keep going in one clean shot. What's nice, if I'm going to draw it and I want to just cock it off to an angle a little bit, I can do that. So I can come off to the side here. And if I don't think I'm going to make it fit, it's nice because I can do that. Because if I go to a 3D view and zoom in, we can make that connection. I'm going to click on thin lines. We don't need any special fittings other than this crazy looking thing to make that connection. They just kind of move the pipe over to where they need it, and then they let it happen. I'm going to hit Control Tab. I'm going to turn my thin lines off. I'm going to come down. I'm going to select this pipe. Right click. I'm going to draw a pipe. And make sure my offset is 3300. I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to draw this one. It's a long stretch. Now I've got it. If I go to a 3D view, zoom out, we'll see that we've got all our connections made. We've got our sprinkler heads tied into our mains. Now, if we need to make any adjustment to our mains, we have a little bit of wiggle room in here. But of course, always cut a section and make sure you know what you've got between the deck, the bottom of the steel, and the top of the ceiling. Also, make sure you have all the trays turned on in your model. You might not have that clean of a shot. It's going to be easier for you to move your branch piping than it is for someone to move a giant piece of ductwork.